And the beat rolls on, the legend grows, it gets bigger and bigger, the drum beats higher and higher, faster and faster. It's Tommy DeVito time. Oh, we're talking about the win last night against the vaunted Green Bay Packers. Lombardi, some magic still lingers with the name. Oh my goodness. You know, it's one of these things that you think about it, it's any chance Waller comes back. There's always a chance. Wait. So you're telling me there's a chance? Hold on. Wait a minute. Well, great. I don't have it. Skyline, it would have been funny. It would have been funny if I had this labeled, and I'm going to label it. Let's see here. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Just for you.
On me, there's a chance. Yeah.
On does the vaunted, there's always a chance. Will he come back? I don't know. Is there a chance he's going to come back? Yes. But we want to talk about Tommy DeVito. We want to talk about Top Gun Tommy. We want to talk about the guy that has latched onto the souls of certain segment of New York Giant fans outside of Peyton Manning, who doesn't like Tommy DeVito's he doesn't like Tommy DeVito's agent. They think he shows him too much on ESPN and all the other channels, and I don't disagree. And I've said this before, the Italian play up on this Tommy DeVito thing is going to be interesting when he starts to lose, because he's gonna lose. This is not gonna be a magical run where he's gonna win 10 games in a row and take us to the playoffs and everything else. And I've said it before, when it does happen, he's gonna reach a crescendo, and the people that find this Italian thing funny all of a sudden is gonna be against it. It's just life. That's just the way life is, and that's what people do. But he's a great story right now. If you look statistically, his stats are going down every week. So, and the Giants, except for that final drive, kind of went into the tank in reference to passing. I don't know if they felt it was because of the wind, or he was just not on target yesterday, I should say. But it reached a point where they decided, Kafka and Bobby Johnson, and the rumor has it that they wanted to take advantage of the over aggressiveness of the Green Bay Packers defensive rush and allow Tommy to have an opening to make the big plays with his feet. That's why he had 70 plus yards rushing. Saquon Barkley, like I said, they tried to give the game away. We tried. Zach Attack says, Tim will be on for an hour because he has to make a video about Wan'Dale Robinson's breakout game. I don't think there's really Wan'Dale Robinson's breakout game, but I'm not gonna do a Wan'Dale Robinson video. I have a video already queued up for tomorrow. I also have a video queued up for Thursday. I'm not gonna talk about that, but maybe we'll play a segment of the new video. Ooh, wouldn't think I could do that, couldn't I? Let's see here. Any chance? Oh, we're gonna do the Waller thing. Any chance? OGR Sports is in the house. My thoughts on yesterday's game was completely off. I am so happy to be wrong. Being wrong is great. When you win, being wrong is awesome. When you are right and you lose, that sucks. And like I said, I was seeing this being a game where the Giants would crash down earth a little bit, and they didn't. They came out with a win. They came out with a W. They came out with a home win. They came out with a team that was fighting for a playoff spot. So, that's great. That's what you want to see. You have so many people that are sitting here a little bit more upset that we've dropped from 4th to 10th. Do I think that the vaunted Tommy DeVito is going to be the quarterback for the future of the New York Giants? There's always the Blake Bortles story. You want to go back even further? There's Brian Sipe. There's Rex Grossman. There's Tommy Maddox. There's Derek Anderson. There is a plethora of names of quarterbacks who had one good season. Tyler Thigpen, Matt Castle, and then basically kind of fell off the planet, fell off the earth. And the earth does rotate, so maybe they got jumped back on again. I don't know. But like I said in the video today, you got to enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the minute, enjoy what's going on, because you don't know when or if it's going to end. And you hope it's one of those magical runs that teams have. You hope it's one of those runs where it doesn't end, except maybe in the playoffs. Playoffs? Talk about playoffs? No, but I'm not talking about playoffs. It's way too early. You have I think 5 teams that are 6 and 7 that are still ahead of the Giants, and I always love it because people are like, well, we're only 1 game back from the playoffs. Well, there's 5 other teams that are 6 and 7, so you have to leapfrog them first. And one of them, I believe, is New Orleans, who we play, and then we got 2 games against Philadelphia, and the other team is the Rams. So the Giants' schedule these last 4 weeks there's no gimme game on the schedule. You're gonna be in New Orleans. You're gonna come back, and then you're gonna face you're gonna face the Rams. And then you got is it the Rams or the Eagles first? Then I don't remember, but then you got 2 games at the Eagles and one. You're doing a 1 and away, home and away. So it's not. And I told people a couple of weeks ago, don't sleep on the Dallas Cowboys. I think there was always rumors and speculation Dallas was a better team than Philadelphia, and kind of right now they're kind of proving that a little bit. So this last game of the season in Philadelphia may be a meaningful game for Philadelphia. Zacatag says, I would laugh if Tommy wins 10 games in a row. If he won 10 games in a row, I think I would laugh too. Chris says, what's up, Tim? Everything, man. Everything's good. Timothy wants to know, how's it going, Tim? Will the Giants finish 6 and 11 and miss the playoffs this year? If they finish 6 and 11, they're missing the playoffs. Because that means they've only won 1 more game. And there's already 5 teams that are 6 and 7 ahead of them. So yes, they would make the Emmanuel's in the house. What's up, man? How you doing, my brother? Hope everything's going well. Chris says, hope Shane does what he has to do to get a quarterback in the draft. Here's my biggest concern. And I have concerns. My concern is this. Would the Giants potentially go the opposite of the Denver Broncos? Denver Broncos made that miracle playoff run, beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, got crushed in New England by the Patriots with the great Tim Tebow. And then next year they dumped Tebow and grabbed Peyton Manning. Now, I'm not saying that Tommy DeVito's Tim Tebow, but I'm also after 4 games, like Brian Dable said, I'm not saying that he's Tom Brady. It's 4 games. You got a long way to go. And I think we have to look at it from that perspective. What does Miguel says? Miguel says, I like this one. I saw this already. Jordan Love couldn't hit the broadside of a barn last night. We really at the point where saying our defense was suffocating. Okay. If you want to talk about the Giant defense plays well in spurts. They have too many mental errors. They got away with some penalties, and they got away with some, and somehow the refs once again, in my mind, screwed the Patriots. The Packers a little bit in this game. There was the pass interference penalty on them on the Packers on defense on that opening drive. And last time I checked, the definition of pass interference is catchable ball. Tommy missed him by a country mile. He wasn't even close. I mean, the pass interference occurred while the ball was a good 12 feet over the receiver's head and ended up 10 yards in front of them. That's not pass interference. There were a lot of plays that went against. Now, also, there was a lot of stupid plays by the Packers, but there were a lot of plays that went against the Packers that you kind of scratch your head like. And I laughed because I was texting some people during the game, and I said, are the refs trying to keep Tommy in this game? Did they see something I don't see? Barkley says, Barkley down by the contact, or was it a fumble? Because I thought once the player touched, it should have been down by contact. That was another bad call. That should have been down by contact because once the player touches Barkley, he's automatic. You could touch him, you could nick him, you could graze him. You soon as you even touch him, you could fingertip him. That's down by contact by NFL rules, and that's been a rule for a long time. So you're 100% right, Zach. Mr. Roberts says, hey, Tim, I also wonder if the Twitter rumors from a few weeks ago about Merritt threatening to fire Dable if he had a bad season are true, because ever since the rumors, the team has been winning. I think it's more of the fact that they found a competent quarterback. And I don't think, and I'm not calling Tommy a competent quarterback in regards to the fact that I think he's the long-term answer. I don't think he's Brock Purdy yet, but like I said, I don't think he's Rex Grossman either. but he's competent enough that he stays in the pocket. He looks downfield. He looks for his wide receivers. He's still got this wonky, long-ass windup. Something bad is going to happen with that. I'm sorry. Something bad is going to happen with that. And I'm going to keep saying that. And people are like, well, you've been so wrong before. Yeah, I was also wrong about Daniel Jones for 4 years. But it's just one of those. It's just one of those things that I think when you have, like I said, Tommy DeVito was not great yesterday. He was good at the end of the game. He was good in the 2-minute drive to get the team in the field goal position to win the game. He was not good yesterday outside of his running. You talk about Jordan Love not being hit the broadside of the barn, neither could Tommy. So, and what concerns me a little bit, the Saints have a better defense than the Packers, and the Packers also had a lot of injuries, not only in their defensive secondary, but also in their linebacking core. So I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. What's up, Muzz? What do you got here to say? What's up, Tim? I am staying with Tommy DeVito, man. Let's see what he's got. We're winning games, and the team. That's what I said that in the video the other day. Somebody asked me, do you think the Giants should go to Tyrod Taylor? I said, no. You got to ride the hot hand. And right now, the hot hand and person winning game is Tommy DeVito. Plain and simple. Here's my thing, though. You're going to reach a point where he's going to make a mistake. You're going to reach a point where he's going to have a fumble. You're going to reach a point where he's got an interception. You're going to reach a point where something goes wrong. And I just hope to God that fans don't all of a sudden turn to Tyrod Taylor and start, like I said, ripping down the kid. Hey, Jeff, what's up? Tim, I like Tim, like I said before, we need 4 of the wins for 9, maybe a wild card at 9 and 8. Jeff, you're not winning any of the Philadelphia games. Philadelphia, as we can see, is a cut above the Giants. You're not winning in Philadelphia, and we're probably not going to win at home in Philadelphia. Because remember what happened last year at home in Philadelphia against Philadelphia? I was there. I remember. Swing, what's up, my brother? Tommy is improving each game. I'm all for drafting quarterback, but this kid is going to keep winning and improving. Then maybe no. I love you, brother. You know that, but he is not Brock Purdy yet. I mean, I love it because even Dable said today, it's been 4 games. He's not anointing him Tom Brady. He's not saying anything. He's 25 years old. It's been 4 games. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got to wait. You got to give him a little bit of time. Zach says it's the Saints, Eagles, Rams, Eagles in the last 4 games. Okay, that's what I thought. Emmanuel says, remember, the Bills drafted a quarterback after a playoff season. Yeah, they did, and people seem to forget that. His name is Allen something. Joshua. I don't remember. Salute to the Admiral. Right back at you, my brother. Emmanuel also says, I feel like Fields is our future, considering how Tommy played, and it emulates how Field played. I like Justin Fields a lot. I thought they should have drafted him. I knew they weren't going to draft him because of the fact that you had craphead Jones. I could be mean now to Daniel Jones because the Giants are winning without him. Here's my big concern. Here's my issue. Here's my problem. Here's my, and I see the Kayvon Thibodeaux thing about Kayvon getting fooled by the Packers in the end. I got to talk about the Kayvon Thibodeaux thing because there was a play that Kayvon Thibodeaux that he literally got faked. Jordan Love faked his socks off. I mean, Kayvon literally did like a spin and then he turned around and go, where the fuck did he go? It's magic. But I'm going to talk about the minute. I think Justin Fields would be a good fit for somebody like Brian Dable. I think he can provide an offensive spark, but right now you're riding the hot hand with Tommy, and we'll have to talk about that next year. Skyline said Deontay Banks is a trooper, though. The pass breakup was Deontay Banks has played well. He had 12 tackles last night. He's looked good. He's played effectively. He has his moments where he still makes his little bit of rookie mistakes, but it's his first year. Everyone, can we get a Trey Hawkins sighting? Chris says this whole past weekend was a bad day for. It's been the game last night was horridly officiated. Horridly. It's not even a point that you want to even talk about it. Timothy also says, Tim, should the Giants cut Graham Gano? No, they should not cut Graham Gano. They also can't because of the salary. Sports are so rigged now, shaking my head. I'm not saying sports are rigged, but Tommy DeVito is a good story. And like I said, there was some plays called against the Packers that you kind of shake your head like, what the fuck did they see? Because I don't see it. Like I said, that pass interference, the definition of pass interference, it even has it in the definition, catchable ball. When the ball's 12 feet over your head and 10 yards in front of you, that's not referred to as catchable, but extended a giant drive. Mr. Albert says the whole season has been a bad day for officiating. It really has been. Kayvon kept getting fooled by the Packers in the end round. Which team will take advantage of that? He did. You would think that at this point in his career, he could recognize certain plays. And I love it because you have certain parts of the fan base. Listen, I don't think Kayvon Thibodeaux is a bust. I do not think Kayvon Thibodeaux is a bust at all. I think he is going to be a good player. I don't think he's going to be a great player. People are going to point out his 8 tackles. Kayvon Thibodeaux, 8 tackles. That's what they're going to point out. But they're going to fail to mention that only one of those tackles was solo. So that tells me you are not leading the point of attack. You are a guy mopping up. That's just football. And you could call me crazy. Like I said, I'd rather still have Parsons. Let's see. Hey, Tim, should the Giants cut? No, we're not cutting Graham. Mr. Alvarez says, I hope Jaden Daniels falls to 10 because sadly Caleb doesn't look likely. Oh, Caleb Williams is done. And don't forget to hit the like button. You got to hit the like button because if you don't hit the like button, then things don't get liked. And I don't know what happens. There's just bad things happen if you don't hit the like button. I don't know what, but bad things happen. Caleb's not following us. Caleb's going to go probably. There's already talk that the Bears are going to get rid of Fields to take Caleb. I don't agree with that, but I'd be happy if they would take like a third rounder. If the Bears called the Giants and Ryan Poles said to Shane, hey, I'm going to offer you can you give me a third rounder? I'll give you Justin Fields. I'm like, okay. A guy going into year 4 and you can still pick up his 5th year option. Oh, I'm all down with that. You could sign me up and sign me up twice on Sunday. The Skyline, what do you say there? Would you say Tommy is playing on the same level as last year's day? Oh, you know what? This is a great question. Yes, 100%. If you look at the definition of average, Tommy DeVito is average. Look at his stats. Yeah, everyone's got to point to the multitudes of touchdowns and blah, 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 blah. But if you look at it against all the rest of the quarterbacks, he is average, if not below. So the point I was making, Shane gave $160 million to a below average quarterback. I was told forever that I didn't know what I was talking about, that I was stupid when I said this was not a good contract. You could tell me about the $90 million only. You could tell me about the 3-year app, but you gave money to a guy that you knew was potentially only going to be average and who was only average the season prior, and you paid him off of 1 game. I always go back to the Knicks, Jerome James. Look it up. I'm not going to go through the history of Jerome James again, but just look it up. What do we got, Mr. Esquire? A losing culture appreciates mediocrity. Oh, that's good, too. A losing culture appreciates mediocrity. Imagine Parcells coaching this. Oh, Parcells wouldn't survive in this area. Parcells would literally blow a gasket. His head might literally explode on the sidelines. So let's get a B. Let's see here. Was Campbell a healthy scratch? Yes, I believe Campbell was a healthy scratch. Jeff also said, Jeff, Jones is not here for the money. Tommy D is here to prove he is better than Daniel Jones. Oh, I got to agree. He right now he's playing better and he's playing more effective than Daniel Jones. Because also Daniel Jones has a torn ACL. But Daniel Jones was 1-4. Tyrod's got a win as well. Tommy's got 3. So you have 2 guys that have 4 wins that Daniel Jones has won. Todd Taylor says, shout out to Aziz. He made it through a few games in a row. Yeah, I think he had 1 as a tackle. Zach says, I wonder if the Wink system, I wonder if Wink's system, because he's got back to Baltimore, the defense would get fooled by the Steelers jet sweep. I think it's part of the system, but I also think it's the player. Karen says, Tommy, I have a feeling it's going to be a Giants quarterback. No, Karen, I'm not even going to read it. Sports Card says, what the heck is a couplet? A cut, it's supposed to be cutlet. I'm a redneck, so I've never heard of it. It's a piece of chicken. Oh my God. If you don't hit the like button, you'll have fourth string offensive lineman Matt and new players will take over YouTube and the Maris golfing buddies. Make sure Swing Culture said, hit that like button, please. C. Sanders says, if Tommy gets us to the playoffs, should he start next season? No. No. Knock, knock. Who's there? No. You cannot do this to Giant fans again. You cannot have an offseason of false hope, draft around a potential quarterback, and then have him flame out. Because right now, the Giants are being propped up by the play of the defense and the fact that the NFL does not really have any extended film on Tommy until now. And if you watch, his stats are periodically dropping each week. It was the same thing with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones had the big game in Tampa, and then his stats started falling. That's what happens with a rookie quarterback. He is going to hit the wall. He will hit the Petro. He's going to hit the rookie quarterback wall 100%. And it's not a bad thing. It just happens because the NFL catches up. You know what they're going to do in New England? They're going to keep a safety in the middle of the field. They're going to keep a linebacker in the middle of the field. They are going to limit the opportunity. They are not going to collapse. They are going to collapse the pocket and try to push him up into the rush. And they are going to maintain their edge and hold their assignments. That's what's going to happen. Because right now, if you watch this game and you look at this game and you use it as a benchmark, what you do against Tommy is simple. You keep him in the pocket. You limit his ability to use his mobility. You collapse the outside. You push him into the center of the field, and you keep your defensive tackles. You keep a couple linebackers. You keep someone in there, and just watch. They did the same thing to Daniel Jones this year. After his 700 yards rushing, they did the same thing. This is what the league does. The league figures it out. And it doesn't have to do anything against Tommy. It's just that's what the league does. Petro, what's going on? Hey, look, Tim, I don't care where the rest of the season ends. The game last night was electric. Oh, no, I don't disagree. Not really. It was kind of boring. Let's be honest. The game was boring going up until the fourth quarter. It was another typical boring type Giant game. It really was. I mean, if we're going to be honest about it. Let's see there. Todd says his stats haven't been great. They just won the games. You're right. You're right. That's the best, Todd. That is the best way to put it, Todd. Joby Esquire says if the Giants make the playoffs, it shows the state of the NFC conference as well as the quarterback play said in the conference. You're right. You're 100% right. If the Giants make the playoffs, that means there's going to be a bad team make the playoffs this year. Unless someone in this pack all of a sudden just hits a switch, there's going to be a bad team in the playoffs. And I've always said it before. I think there should be less teams in the playoffs. Pete Thoreau says, "Look at what Dable can do with a guy who isn't a fucking robot."
Hello, I am Daniel Jones. I will throw the ball. That does not compute.
You're right. Look what he can do without a robot. Zach Attack says, how did the Packers defense not put a spy on Tommy DeVito late in the third? I don't know. I always go back to the Bears game 2 years ago. And the Giants literally 3 plays in a row. Play action rollout to the left side. Daniel Jones' option was either the tight end or he ran the ball. They ran that play 3 times in a row. And then they ran like another 2 times. And I couldn't figure out, how do you not see that? You don't, and this was just before halftime. It's not even a halftime adjustment. How do you not figure that out? That if he rolls out, he's either going to run it or throw it to the tight end. There's only 2 options. Now they figured it out in the second half. And we know what happened or almost happened. Let's see. Zach Attack says Tommy DeVito didn't do anything to hurt the Giants. That's the other good thing. That's another thing. You're 100% right. Tommy DeVito does not do anything right now to hurt the team. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't put them in long situations. He does take a lot of sacks, but all of a sudden the offensive line, akin to Bobby Johnson, all of a sudden gave up 0 sacks last night, which was a Herculean task on its own. Don't forget to hit the like. Mr. Alvarez says this game was abysmal. Until the end, it looked like a 2 teams trying. You're right, Mr. Alvarez. I mean, I was sitting there thinking that. I was literally sitting there thinking that this game until the last 7-8 minutes was not a fun watch. I admit it. I was flipping between the Titans and Miami. I was flipping between them. And that was a good game. Daryl, what's up? What's up, Tim? Tommy D have more primetime wins than Daniel Jones. You're gonna get the rim shot, but it's a truth. It's a truth. It is not a matter of opinion, not a matter of speculation, not a matter of conjecture. You're right. He got a primetime win. The Giants broke the primetime streak. Todd says, what does Todd says? Well, there will be a couple in each conference, like 4 good teams this year, and everyone else is 500 that can lose to anyone. 100% well said. Would I be if the Giants went on a miracle run? Would I be shocked? Would I be stunned? Would I be bowled over if they made the playoffs? No, I would not be, because you would think that the speculation of that is more right now than anything else. Hey, I'm hosting something live on Twitter. What is this? I don't know what the hell this is. Don't mind me. I like to just push buttons during the middle of a show. I don't know what the hell that is, but that was cool. Zack Attack. What does you got to say, Zack Attack? The Packers pass rush wasn't bad going into the game. Bobby Johnson finally had the team buy-in. Just ask Rob, because you know what R0B loves Bobby Johnson, also referred to as Rob Zombie. Let's see. Isaiah, what's up? What's up, my brother? What's up, Mr. Rogers? What's up, Tim? I can still draft Jaden Daniels being 8. I feel like New England will draft. Washington will get a weapon. If you're going to run this style and philosophy of offense, if that is truly your thought process, and you're looking for someone who could facilitate this offense, I would take Caleb. I would take Jaden. I would take Penix, but Penix scares the bejesus out of me with his injuries and that wonky windup. But you're right; those 3 would fit like a glove. Or I'd take Justin Fields too. Would fit like a glove into what Dable wants to do. But right now, you're riding the hot hand. You are riding, you're riding the Tommy train. That's what you need to do right now. You need to keep doing this until the wheels fall off the bus. And what worries me, the wheels are going to fall off the bus at home against Philadelphia, and the poor kid's going to get booed unmercilessly. And then he's got to crank it up, go play another game, and then go back to Philly. I should rephrase it: play Philly at home. I mean, that's what worries me. Mr. Alvarez says the NFC conference has like 3 elite teams surrounded by a bunch of bums. The AFC to me is a better conference right now, no doubt. But the Giants should take advantage of that. I think that's what it should be like with the Knicks when Jordan went out. Jordan's out. You finally got your shot. You take your shot. Is that Mr. Weaver? I see Mr. Weaver. Let's see here. Zack Attack says if you are undefeated in something for the Giants, they'll make sure they make a lot of changes. Mr. Rogers says, I think Caleb's draft stock went down. He might come to us. I got a gut feeling. I don't think it went down. I think if anything, other people's stock has gone up. I think if you look at Drake May and you compare him to Caleb Williams, I've said it before, I would rather have a guy that has Caleb Williams' skill set who had success in college than someone like Drake May who has all the NFL's intangibles, can make all the throws on Sunday. I hear that a lot about players. Mr. Weaver, what's going on? Hey, Tim, what's up? Well, everything good. Any OCs come to mind for next year? You keep Kafka because for some odd reason, the O-line's playing better. It's like everyone is playing harder. I don't think Kafka's getting fired. I don't think Wink is getting fired. I think a lot of that was just blown out of proportion. And also winning helps curtail any of that conversation. I do find would there be an OC that there's a guy named Ken Dorsey who just got fired in Buffalo. So that would be something that you may want to look at. But I don't think, I mean, Kafka that now, Kafka's biggest issue is he didn't have experience. And I said this before. I thought it was going to be like they did in Kansas City with Eric Bieniemy, with Andy Reid. First 2 years, Eric Bieniemy, all he did, he installed the offensive game plan during the week. And then on Sunday, Andy Reid called the plays, and then he turned over this play calling after a couple of years to Eric Bieniemy. I thought the Giants would do the same thing, but evidently they just decided to throw Kafka to the fire. Has Kafka gotten better at play calling? No. I think the offensive line's holding up better because of the fact that that Tommy didn't hold on to the ball too long last night. So I think that was the best thing in the world. What does Royer said? This shit was marvelous last night. It was a lot of fun. The last 4 minutes of the game was fun. Almost wasn't fun, but it was. Penix also makes me nervous because he has the least mobility of the guys listed in the one, and this O-line will do him no favors. So you need to invest heavily in the O-line. I don't know about investing in the O-line because we keep investing in the O-line. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you don't hit the like button, the world will implode. Bad things will happen if you don't hit the like button. I don't know what bad things will happen, but they could happen. Yeah, I'm tired of investing in your line. What's up, Daniel? Sports highlights. What's going on? Yo. Zach Attack says, do you think the locker room trusts Tommy and Tyrod more than Daniel Jones? Yeah, I do. I think from the perspective of, I don't think they're playing any harder. I will say this. We've talked about this before with Jalen Hurts. And if you ever watched any Philadelphia games, and I have the displeasure of watching a lot of them because I live not too far from Philadelphia, and that's all that's on television, but I'm not watching it on the dish. You see the team rally around him. You see the team pick him up. You see the team understand that he is the guy. You know, when they knock him down, it's like you knock down their kid brother. And you just feel something special when he's out on the field. And right now, I still think he's having an issue with an injury right now. Same with Josh Allen. But you have that feeling that they play for him. And I don't know if they trust Tommy more, but right now he's got an infectious personality. So they're playing for him. I will say this, that if he starts to make some bonehead plays, do some stupid things, and start putting the defense in positions they shouldn't be, it's going to go back to the way it was. But right now, yes, I could say they trust him. Let's see. Can we say Jeff Hostetler 2.0? No. Everyone, because of Jeff Hostetler, I can't even talk today. Because of Jeff Hostetler and what he did playoff-wise for the Giants. Everyone has this, and I lived through the Hostetler era. Everyone has this envision that Hostetler was so awesome, that he was so great after that 90, the miracle 90 season when he went 2-0. Well, he went 7-5 and 5-4. And in those 2 years afterwards, he threw for 13 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in 30 games. So, yeah, I hope he's not a Hostetler, because everyone remembers the 90 season. Everyone remembers the miracle run. Everyone remembers him bending his knee back in the Super Bowl. We all remember that, but we don't remember what happened in 91 and 92. We forget about that. Oh, my God. Let's see. Petro says, is it bad I actually have faith in Tommy DeVito go down the field with a minute and 40 seconds left over that I never felt with Daniel Jones? No, it doesn't feel bad. That doesn't feel bad. You don't feel bad at all about that. I don't feel bad about that. I actually thought the same thing. When Daniel Jones is in the 2-minute drill, I cringe. Like when Tommy DeVito does it, because you don't expect anything. And if you don't expect anything and something good happens, then it just happens. Just 90 season. Come on, Tim, just 90. What does that mean? Todd Taylor says, anyone forget Bullock has played for us before? I did. No, he played one game. Bullock played one game. Mel Edelson says, I don't give a shit about Jay Glazer report. Wink needs to be back. Oh, Wink's going to be back. Wink will be back. I think Kafka will be back, and I think Kafka's not getting. This is what killed me about the Northwestern shit. Yeah, it's his alma mater with Kafka, but Kafka was never going there because he didn't have enough experience even as an offensive coordinator. What does Douglas have to say? Tommy 10 toes and 3 balls is taking us to the Super Bowl. Hey-o. Let's see here. Lamar says, come on, Tim, just 90 season. It is just a night. Hostetler wasn't even that great in the 90 season. He threw three touchdowns, 1 interception, 600 yards, and 2 games. Well, actually, he played. He started 2 games. He did play in 16 games, and only completed 54% of his passes. So if you guys want that, I'm great. I'm not making fun of you anymore. I'm greatly concerned. Hostetler was very athletic, a good runner, an average quarterback with a very average arm. He was. He couldn't beat out Phil Simms when they initially drafted him. He had to play as a wide receiver. He was a gunner at one point in time on special teams. He actually blocked a couple field goals and a couple extra points. Hostetler did. So, yeah, we want to talk about. I don't want Tommy DeVito to be Hostetler just because he wears 15. Why do people all of a sudden just get so enamored about this? Todd Taylor says, I forgot he played for us in 2016. Yeah, he kicked for 1 game. Todd Taylor says, love Hoss, but the 90 team was 10-0 before he played, and not like he carried the Scrubs to the end. They were 10-0. We all know what happened in the Bills game with Phil Simms at home, wrecked his knee. Hostetler comes in. They barely beat. I think the last game of the season was the New England Patriots, and Parcells freaked out on this team. He freaked out on that 90 team because he thought they were kind of just going through. He thought they were kind of just going through the motions with Hostetler. So I mean, it's not, and I don't get this because everyone's like, well, you want it's Hostetler, it's Hostetler. Does anyone remember that Hostetler in 3 games only threw for 500 yards and 3 touchdowns? And barely completed 59% of his passes. Does anyone remember that in the 90 season? Or am I the only one that remembers that? I mean, so I don't want him to be Hostetler. I'd rather him be Eli Manning. I'd rather him be Phil Simms. And he also only rushed for 64 yards in 3 games. And that includes the Super Bowl. So I would like him to be, I like him to be more. Maybe that's just me trying to, look at things for Tommy DeVito and look at him for, more in a perspective that you want him to be more than Jeff Hostetler. I think you should aspire to be more. Hostetler was 20 for 32 for 220 yards and 1 touchdown in the Super Bowl. His playoff win in Chicago was 10 for 17 for 112 and 2. The next week in San Francisco, he's 15 for 27 for 176, no touchdowns. The best thing to say about Hostetler is he didn't turn the ball over. So you want more out of your quarterback than just being a Hostetler. Let's see. Zach Attack says Tommy DeVito can read defenses better than DJ. Yeah, I know Simms was 10-0. That's what I said. And then he got wrecked in the Buffalo game at home. Yeah, that's what I said, Luke. Tommy DeVito can read defense better. That ain't saying much. That's not saying much, Zach. I wish that was saying a lot. Tyrod Taylor's better at reading defenses. Hell, I think Mitchell Trubisky is. I think what the hell is that guy? I don't think Marcus Mariota is. These guys that we could have went out and got and not spent all that money and then signed Saquon Barkley and still be able to bridge this team next year to another quarterback. It's just you got lucky that the fact that you found a kid that may potentially be a backup for you. But like I said, there are so many guys out there that the short period of time that he's played, and even Dable has come out and said it. It's been 4 games, guys. You cannot define a career or judge a career after 4 games. Your head coach has said this. I didn't say it. The coach said it. So you can't sit there and say, well, what we're going to do is we're going to build the team around Tommy. We're going to build the team around Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones. You do that, I quit. I will literally quit forever and go work on the Knicks because you can't do that to this fan base again. You can't have false hope. You can't sit there and tell me that you are going to go through this training camp again against the all shorts team and tell me how good everything is with these 2 guys at quarterback. It's a great story. It's a great moment. But we've talked about the venerable moment before. Moments are fleeting. Do you want a quarterback whose career is based on moments, or do you want a quarterback whose career is going to be solely based on, oh, thank you, my love, whose career is going to be solely based on the ability to win games for an extended period of time? We've said it before.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
And that's what he has right now, Tommy. He has great moments because it's born from great opportunities. 100%. Then again, I believe Mike Baby Cousin can read defense better than Daniel Jones. Don says he can be a good solid number 2. That's as far as I'm going with. Don, that's because you're smart. Because you're an intelligent Giant fan. I'm going to say it right now. Burgers up for Don. Jeez, I wish I had a co-host. I wish I had a co-host. To protect, Protects, what's up, my brother? Tommy D is a fun story. 4 games, I'm not ready to crown him out. He's been the next great quarterback. I agree. 100%. Carl Banks says Kayvon Thibodeaux was the difference maker last night. He was the Packers. I love Carl Banks because Carl Banks comes on the show so often. Right, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a great show to be on. Yeah.
He's always on the show. Carl Banks. I think there's something wrong with Carl Banks sometimes. Because I think he sees things. I think he always sees things through the Giant lens. He had 1 solo tackle. You look at the stat sheet and see Kayvon 8 tackles. You think, oh my God, he was a wrecking crew. He had 1 solo tackle, and there was at times that in half a sack that he was made foolish. He looked foolish. That Jordan Love made him look foolish. I'm in a French fry. Oh, I'm hungry. No, you can't judge a career after 4 games. Heck, you can't judge a career after 5 years. There's no just kidding. That was funny. Tim, you need to buy a Tommy DeVito jersey and have it autographed. Tommy DeVito needs to send me a jersey. No, I'm not crazy yet. Luke says, hey, Tim, love how you have such a wealth of information about Giants past teams. Excellent. Yeah, I'm old. I wish I could sit there and tell you I wasn't old, but I'm old. So I go back a ways. The 90 season was one of my favorite seasons because of the 10-0 run, because of everything else. But it was one of those things. Let's see. Oh, God. Victor says, Tommy Cutlins is now converting vegan. So would it be vegan Parmesan? Hi-oh. Listen, just ride the Tommy DeVito story. Just have, you know what? Everyone, make sure you hit the like. Just ride it. Have fun with it. I mean, that's it. Just have fun with it. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy it while it's there. Because, like I said, the moments they come and they go. In moments like this, it's not. It has not reached the peak of Tebow mania. It has not reached the peak of Linsanity. When you get closer to potentially, getting, if you win against the Saints, and you have a good showing against Philadelphia and still lose, it's still not going to be at the peak or the apex of something like Linsanity. But it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun ride. And like Linsanity, everyone has this thing about Linsanity, that it was this long thing. Linsanity was like a month. Literally, it was like a month. Because then Carmelo came back. His scoring dropped from 22 points to 14 points. And Carmelo didn't like playing with him. You had the coaching change. And at the end of the day, he tears his meniscus and he misses it, and he takes the contract and goes to Houston. So sometimes, like they said, sometimes fairy tales don't end well. Stanley says, what's up, Stanley? Stanley says, Tim, why is the nation media saying Tommy DeVito is a new star in the future? Because they're stupid and they need something to write about. To be honest, they're stupid and they need something to write about. Davey says, Tim Brady has great moments. Tim Brady had great moments at the right time of his career. Well, Brady was a good quarterback. Brady was the GOAT. I mean, I cannot even consider. Tom Brady then went on, of course, and won in Tampa without the Belichick. And when you got a guy that throws for he threw for 8,900 something yards 650 touchdowns or 649 touchdowns, only like 200 interceptions. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Tommy's got a little ways to go. We need to return to the 80s universal time. Generic football looks. Oh, I love the 80s stuff. I love the throwback stuff. I remember in the 70s when they had those ugly double line NYs on the helmet. Oh dear Lord, that was just fucking god awful. And I did like when they converted back to the normal NY from like the 50s and the 60s. But I am a guy that I love Giant Stadium. I love Giant Stadium. I spent most of my youth, especially during the winter months, hanging out in the Giant Stadium from about, I would say from, mid 70s into the late 80s. I lived in Giant Stadium. Every Sunday I was there. We had season tickets. I was there every Sunday. So when you go when you have those throwback unis, when you have those helmets, you sit there and you see this, of course, say, oh my God, signed by Carl Banks. When you have that just makes you smile, just makes you happy. Petro said, I say we keep him as long-term backup. Finally drafting the backup worked out. Oh, actually, we didn't draft him. He was undrafted free agent. Only been saying this for years now to draft one, but I guess I'm the dumb one. You are the dumb one. Why would you want to draft a quarterback? Tommy DeVito makes things a lot more fun, way more. It's a better feeling, a better thought process, and a better game, and a better time when he's in the game. That's all there is to it. And that's really all there is to it. Don said, at the same time, though, the play calling still suspect. I think Kafka's going to grow into it a little bit more, but you got to be honest about it. Davey says, you got to get an invite to dinner, and he might send you a jersey. I'm from Jersey, man. I'm from Jersey. He should just call me up. We'll hang. I'll go down the shore. I spent my summers at Seaside. I don't know how often. He should call me up. Now I saw this movie already. Yeah, me too. To Protect says, I just want to have some fun, win some games. I've never fully embraced the tank. I hate seeing the Giants. I hate seeing the Giants lose too. And like I said, I don't believe in the tank. I never believe players don't go out there trying to tank. No matter how much you think that, they never do. Mr. McCormick says, Tim, what do you think? Let's see. Who do you have to look at in the draft now? I still think you're going quarterback. I still think you have to go quarterback. I cannot have a quarterback room retired. I've Tommy DeVito. I can stop calling him Danny DeVito now because he won 3 games. I'm not going to go into a quarterback room with DeVito and Jones, an unproven guy that's only played in 8 games, and a guy who's played in 5 years, multiple injuries, and coming off an ACL. I can't do it. I literally can't do it. You don't have to take a quarterback that first round, but you got to take someone. I literally cannot do it. My season tickets are on the line because I may just throw up my hands and I can't do it. Do you think Tommy Cutlitz is a franchise quarterback or just right now he's a lucky quarterback? His stats have gone down. His stats have dropped. He's gone down each game, and they're going to continue to go down, but he's winning, and that's all that matters. Roy says, I was 15 there in that 90 season, living in the South Bronx. I was a little bit older than that. But it was fun. I loved it. That 90 season was awesome until the injury. Mr. Will says, the best thing that ever happened to Tommy DeVito was coming in and doing what he's doing. Proves that DJ is not the answer. Thank you, Tommy DeVito. Everyone should just give Tommy a Christmas card because you're right. He just proved that Daniel Jones is not the answer. I'm going to have a burger bite. Entertain yourself for a minute. The one day I do this, I'm trying to eat my none of my co-hosts are around. Davey said Tom Brady could have had no career if number 11 was not injured. The Bledsoe thing was a Wally Pitt moment. 100%. Oh, I love that helmet too. Nothing beats the old helmet. Zach Attack says, what do you have to say? The Giants love the T formation on 4th down too much. Why not play a play action out of it since teams are expecting the Giants to run right? Same thing with the tush push. Everyone knows it's coming. The only difference is they always stop it when we do it. Well, not really the tush push. You know what I mean? Mr. Alvarez says the only way the team will know Tommy's potential is if he plays against. That is a great way to put it. You play against the Eagles. You play against the Eagles. And then talk to me. You're going to know more about Tommy DeVito against the Saints. You're going to be playing in a hostile environment in the Dome. You're going to be playing against a pretty good Saints defense. They're also trying to matriculate themselves into the playoffs. I haven't read Robin. Red Robin is really good. Red Robin. Doug says, Tim, I pray that Tommy DeVito every day now that he is my hero is going to take us to 25 Super Bowls and win one from every year he starts. The LSU quarterback or the Washington quarterback. So you're talking either Penix or you're talking Daniels. Okay, so I've kind of gone to the Jaden Daniels camp. Mr. Stanley says, no, Tim, this is why teams more inspired with Tommy DeVito with Daniel Jones when they both played the same offensive line. You're right. They're both literally playing behind the same offensive line. Nothing's really changed. DeVito takes just as many sacks at times as Jones does, but he doesn't make the big mistake. Mr. Clark says Drake May is in a mock draft to us. No, I don't want Drake May. How do you feel about that? Watch this. No, I don't want Drake May. It's Daniel Jones reincarnated. Oh, I don't like the other great quarterbacks on the practice squad, Matt Barkley and Jacob Eason. The quarterback looks so great. He's not even Tony Eason's kid. I thought he was Tony Eason's kid. Turned out he's not. We got Coach Dave in his house. This fan base is so delusional. They're talking about building around Tommy DeVito. I tried to stay off Twitter today. I really did. And I don't think I posted a couple things on Twitter. And one thing though that killed me was if anyone remembers the movie Coming to America, and I can't play the clip, but I'll play the audio because I love this scene. Playing the audio.
Mr. McDowell.
What is it?
Sir, I was wondering, did you happen to catch the professional football contest on television last night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was most exhilarating. The Giants of New York took on the Packers of Green Bay. And in the end, the Giants triumphed by kicking an oblong ball made of pigskin to a big H. It was a most ripping victory.
Son, I'm just going to tell you this one time.
Yes, sir.
You want to keep working here. Stay off the drugs.
It's Giant fans. Literally some Giant fans. Davey says, for all I know, we could have dated Tommy DeVito. You could have dated Tommy DeVito's mother. I could have, man. I'm from Jersey. Moet Olson knows that Red Robin is just rocking. Douglas has to say, let's go Jaden Daniels train. I'm starting to like the Jaden Daniels train. I still like the Jaden Daniels train a lot, to be honest. Let's see. Protect Deserves says, Tommy balls out against the Eagles. I will evaluate my stance on him right now. Awesome story, but that's not the solution. Let's see. I'm around, but technically not co-host though. Yeah. Why don't you? Hey, OGR, jump on for a few minutes so I can eat. I'm gonna put the link in here, OGR. Jump on so I can eat a little bit here. There you go, OG. I dropped in. We'll do an OGR marathon in a few minutes. I'll tell you this: if he plays better against the Saints, then we can talk a little bit. OG, what's up, OG Knockout? The Giants aren't drafting a black quarterback, guys. The Giants overpaid Daniel Jones, and now we have an undrafted quarterback outplay him. That is just scary. That is literally a scary thought process. I love it. That's exactly how the fan base sounds. I can't take credit for that clip. That was actually sent to me by T-Brad. And I died laughing because I forgot that it was the Packers and the Giants. That movie's from 1988. Zagatag says, if Tommy beats out the New Orleans Saints in Philadelphia, that's good for his development. If he does that, the fan base is going to shit themselves. Plain and simple. They will literally crap in their pants. And then we'll have an entire offseason about how we don't need a quarterback. And then we'll have all the, I won't be able to take it. I thank God I'm doing Nick stuff. Let's see. Tim, I'm around. We already got that. Coach Dave, what does Coach Dave said? If Daves can make Tommy look halfway decent, what would Jaden Daniels look like once he gets his hands on him? I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. If you could bring this kid in and work around him system-wise, I think you're going to have something. I think you could have something. But I also don't want to put you can't put all the eggs in the Jaden Daniels basket because we have no clue what's going to happen. We have no clue what's going to happen the remainder of the season. We have no clue what's going to happen this draft. We just have no clue what's going to happen at all. Let's see here. What do we got here? Douglas says, honestly, this game is probably the most fun I've had in a while. Maybe because I'm so used to bad football. It was still bad football last night. Let's not convince ourselves otherwise. You know him. You love him. The world sometimes misunderstands him. It's the one. It's the only. Lex Luthor. Oh, no, it's not Lex Luthor.
I was hoping you'd go Carl Banks again.
I can't. Carl Banks is always on the show now.
I know.
No, I mean, why would I have you take Carl Banks' spot? I mean, come on, man. What's going on, brother?
Not too much going on with you.
You know what? I'm living the Tommy DeVito train here. I'm just doing everything that we possibly can.
Yeah, I'm me, not you.
Yeah, see, Carl Banks doesn't like when you talk about him that way. What are your thoughts about last night? When I'm going to rephrase this question, though, also, I should rephrase this question. I'm going to ask you a two-part question.
All right, sweet.
What was your thought in reference to the totality of the game itself? Was it entertaining? Was it not entertaining? Was it another giant game? And what were your thoughts of the outcome and what Tommy DeVito accomplished or maybe didn't accomplish in the totality of the game, not just the final minute 38?
To me, I didn't find the game that boring. I mean, I'm not telling you that, it was a barn burner. And I mean, it was, okay, put it this way. It was better than the Minnesota Vikings and the Raiders. On Sunday.
That ain't saying much.
That ain't saying much, but I enjoyed the game. It maybe just because I felt like we were always in it. It never felt like the game, went away from us where most of the games had this season. I mean, I enjoy the DeVito thing. It's just something to take you away from what the season was to this point.
Right.
And it's a good story. And like you said, it's a Linsanity thing. It's fun now. I hope they don't kill him too bad when he does get his first loss.
Oh, they're going to.
I mean, maybe not after the first loss, but if it strings together, then maybe.
I'm saying after the first interception against in a key spot, because come on, Ochi, you know how this fan base is.
Oh, this fan base is becoming more Jekyll and Hyde by the day. It's disgusting. Okay. But like you said in the video today, when you did the Bull Durham quote, the moment's over.
the moment, but here's the problem with the Giant fan base, and maybe it's not the Giant fan base, maybe it's Twitter. The moment will live. It will morph. I'm talking the blob. I'm not talking the 1980s blob with Kevin Dillon. I'm talking the Steve McQueen blob in the 60s. It'll morph. It'll eat the city, and it'll just keep going and going and going until it destroys everything in its path, until we freeze it in the damn ice ring, and then then it escapes.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. And now you got people with their 15 DeVito jerseys, everybody, with their 15 DeVito, every person that's even slightly Italian throwing the Italian accent out there. No, it's getting ridiculous. I'm kind of getting played out of it a little bit too.
Hey, yo, what do you mean? Yo, Adrian, I can't find my car keys. At the end of the day, we finished the season. And Tommy DeVito's still standing. He's still upright. And you got Daniel Jones maybe coming back in August, maybe coming back in October. Lord only knows. And I know it's a little early to speculate, but do the Giants have the audacity to go into this offseason with Tommy DeVito and Daniel Jones?
Oh, absolutely.
No, you think so?
I don't
like the fact that you answered that so quickly. I was hoping for a cesura or a dramatic pause.
No, there was going to be no dramatic pause or cesura because the biggest thing when Joe Shane and Brian Dable took over, and we talked about it ad nauseum, because I always speculated for years, and now a lot of people are coming to my position because it's conspiracy land. John Mara has a bigger say in this team. He really does. And until that stops, until he stops making the fatal mistake, you're going to have things the nightmares that you don't want to talk about.
Does he have a Jerry Jones say?
He has a pretty big say. I don't know if it's as big as Jerry, but he makes decisions, and I think I believe to this day, you don't go from Josh Allen, working with Josh Allen, being around Josh Allen every day in Buffalo, and then signing Daniel Jones to a $40 million contract, unless there's a frigative gun to your head. I'm sorry.
No, I don't disagree. I'm just trying to think what do you think what's the upside to Tommy DeVito? Is it Brock Purdy? Because that's well, first of all, I heard Tom Brady today, and Dable fucking shut that down like it was like he said pull, and then he took that one out of the sky.
I mean, in a way, I'm hoping, but to me, I'm not even sold on Brock Purdy. I know what he's doing, but if you look about any of the quarterbacks that play under Kyle Shanahan, he can make Colin Kaepernick look good. He made Alex. Did he work with Alex Smith? I don't remember.
I don't think he worked out. Did he? He must have worked. Well, I'm trying. No, I don't think he worked out. No, he didn't work with Alex Smith.
No. Wait, sorry. I have my timeline completely screwed up.
I was going to say
Colin Kaepernick was under whatchamacallit. But anybody who's played under
Jimmy
that,
the Garoppolo.
The Garoppolo. But he's, they had success with the Garoppolo. Like, he can make any guy look good in his system. It just is. And I just think Brock Purdy is a system quarterback that he does what they ask him to do.
Cap was under, that was it. Kaepernick was under Harbaugh.
Yeah.
So you're basically saying he's a Mike Shanahan, Orlandis Gary type running back who you can just plug and play in from going back to the old Denver Bronco days, where the Broncos always had 1,000-yard running back no matter who it was.
Maybe. But no, for me, it's interesting to see what DeVito is. We'll see what he becomes as he goes. I'm not I'm not one of these people that just, overreacts to what's going on and just, Brock Purdy this and, this person this. Like, I give everybody 3 years. Let's see where he is in 3 years. How about that?
Can you really give Tommy DeVito 3 years?
No. But I'm not saying you can give him 3 years, but let's face it. If Daniel Jones comes back, he's just going to get injured again. I wish no ill will on him, but he doesn't protect himself. He holds on to the ball too long, and all the things that you've picked on him for his entirety of his career. I don't mean to be the rah Tim is right guy, but you're right, and I just see him getting injured again. And so I just think you would see, if it was just Jones and DeVito, you would see DeVito again.
Now, the Giants are sitting at 5 wins right now. Do you think if they get to 7, that this and that's all they win? They get their 7 wins, and it's their 7-10. Do you consider this season a success?
Well, I hope they get 8 because then I'd win my bet. Because I bet on the Giants to win more than 7 games. So
selfish reasons put to the side. Selfish reasons put. That's why you're Lex Luthor.
I know, but would it be a success? No.
Would you, as a Giant fan, consider it a success?
No, because you came off the playoffs last year. Like, as a Giants fan, or as any fan of any team for that matter, you expect, more success or equal to the previous season. Right. So no, it's a disappointing season because, regardless of where you or me thought the Giants would be in the beginning of the season or toward the end of the season, the consensus was the Giants were better.
Right.
Even channels that are just NFL and just strictly cover the NFL were said, "Oh, the Giants are a hidden gem. Nobody sees the Giants coming. They are the team." Like,
Oh God, I remember the ESPN or whatever, the NFL football morning show. I remember seeing that at the beginning of the season. I remember, and I think I even talked to you about it. I remember cringing when seeing that, because it's like, what are they seeing that I'm just not seeing? What am I? Maybe I am the stupid fan, but what am I missing?
and honestly, I think I was slightly more optimistic than you.
You were. You were.
I was right around 8 or 9 wins. That's
Right.
where eight or 9 wins, and then a disappointing season would be like 6, 7 or 6. That's where I thought.
I never gave a prediction on wins. I just said we weren't making the playoffs. So because I just didn't see it. We have a favorite player.
I love Kayvon Thibodeaux. Yay!
Hey, you know what? Kayvon does play linebacker. Just saying.
He does kinda. Like, kinda sorta. You look at Kayvon's stats from yesterday. 8 tackles, half a sack. And you have the likes of Carl Banks, who's rosy glass over the Giants, sometimes cover everything he sees. But then you kind of dive in a little bit. And you kind of look at some of the things and you kind of break down the stats. And we talked about this. I don't know if you were here earlier. But out of those 8 tackles, do you know how many were solo?
I already heard you talk about it. One.
It was one. It was 1 tackle. And there was I can think of 2 plays where Love made him look foolish.
I actually can think of a play where he missed his assignment completely.
I was gonna get to that, but I'm gonna let you get to it. Go ahead. That was gonna be my next.
And it's the Jaden Reed touchdown. They called it out on the broadcast.
Thank you. Explain. Please expand on that for a second.
He was supposed to hold the edge, and
he
crashed inside.
Thank you. But you look at his 44 tackles, his 11.5 sacks, and I'm not saying he's a bust.
He's definitely not a bust.
He's not a bust. I keep saying that to everyone. He's not a bust. Evan Neal's not a bust. None of these guys are bust yet. But he's almost like, to me now, the Daniel Jones of the defense.
I don't even think he's so much the Daniel Jones of a defense. When you think primary pass rusher,
right?
No, or especially outside linebacker position, certain names come to mind. I don't expect him to be LT. He's the greatest defensive.
No, of course not.
Of my thing. But somebody like a Khalil Mack that is going to come up and make the big play.
I don't think he's Khalil Mack at all.
He's not, and that's what I'm trying to get to. He's not Khalil Mack. And
no, not even close.
When you draft Kayvon Thibodeaux where he was drafted, you expect Khalil Mack.
Can you believe it that Khalil Mack actually has 15 sacks this season? What isn't he like 497 years old?
I'm pretty sure he's as old as you and has just as many knee injuries.
Well, that's not good. I don't wish that on anybody. I don't wish that on anybody. But doesn't he has 15 sacks this season? But now again, it's on a bad Charger team.
And don't even get me into that. But what I'm getting at, when you draft Kayvon Thibodeaux, you expect Khalil Mack. And to me, Kayvon Thibodeaux is a solid pass rusher on the other side from your primary pass rusher. That's why I equate him to.
So he's a complimentary pass rusher.
That's what I think so. And we look at him as a number 1 pass rusher. And right now he's putting up number 1 pass rusher sack numbers.
Even though 7 of his sacks have come in 3 games.
Yes. Yeah, but at the end of the day, people look at the totality of whatnot. Nobody on the outside world is not going to be like, oh, it only came in 3 games. That's us being, breaking it down. But again, I think he's a complimentary pass rusher, and the Giants still need to address that position going forward.
Do you ever think that he will have the ability or understanding to understand his assignment in reference to maintaining his edge in the running game? Because it's been 2 years now, and I have seen some nice plays from Kayvon, but I've also seen some horrific plays in reference to him doing what it would be. Because I saw people today going, he's just like Michael Strahan.
to me, it's will the consistency kick in? Like, if you really want to see if the consistency kicks in, you'd really have to break down. You'd have to go look at last year, look at this year, and kind of go game by game and see if he's making less mistakes or more mistakes, or equal amount of mistakes. If he's making less mistakes, he's becoming more of a consistent player. Obviously not sitting here looking at Kayvon film and breaking down every little, play by play. Do you think he's making more mistakes, equal mistakes, or less mistakes?
I love it because I know Chris is being facetious on this, but I'm going to get to Chris's comment, but I like this comment. Kayvon does, and Indian Spice is kind of right. He's kind of going the direction I am. Kayvon does not feel impactful as a pass rusher like Bosa or Watt.
Correct.
100% correct, because of the fact that, like I said, you go. And do you think there was always rumors and speculation? It's nice not to talk about Tommy DeVito. It was always rumors and speculation coming out of Oregon that he dogged it a little bit, that he took plays off. And I never really thought that, because I watched a lot of the Oregon film. But I think I've seen him take not just plays off, but series offs, but in some ways games off.
I kind of agree with that notion. And then I remember, LPG, and I think it was the Arizona game, where he's at every game. He pans over and he sees the rest of the team celebrating and
what's going on to the side by himself.
And then he pans over quickly to Kayvon. He goes, I like this. I don't like this.
Right.
And at certain times, Kayvon to me is going to be a streaky player throughout his career. When things are going good, he's going to be there. When things are not going good, he's going to disappear. And I'm hoping he evolves to gain more consistency and become the player we think he can be. But I wouldn't be surprised next year if he takes a step back as far as sack numbers go.
I'm going to give you two names, and you tell me who he's closely playing towards. Which player? Matthias Kiwanuka, Jason Pierre-Paul.
Matthias Kiwanuka.
Yeah. Boston College's Matthias Kiwanuka. And I just don't get, and like I said, sometimes I watch things and sometimes I read things and sometimes I see things, and I just don't understand why I feel like sometimes I'm the only one seeing it. And it's the same thing with Daniel Jones, and I'm kind of getting the same vibe a little bit with Kayvon. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good player, but you took him.
I think he's a good player now.
Right. I think he's a good player now, but I don't, to your point, I don't think he's consistent.
He's a good player now. I think he'll be a good player for the entirety of his career. You don't draft somebody 5 overall to be a good player. You draft somebody to be a great player or a Hall of Famer.
Right. I mean, I go to the Raiders game. He had 1 tackle.
Yep.
You go to the Pats game. He had 4. The Commanders, which was the big, with the big game, he had a sack and a half, but he had 4 tackles. He had 1 in the Bills, 2 in the Dolphins, 2 against the Seahawks, 3 against 49ers, 0 against the Cardinals, 4 against Dallas.
Yeah. And then not to mention this, I can even recall the tackle from the game. It was a tackle for loss. AJ Dillon in the backfield. He came around the edge, and it was a play up the middle. AJ Dillon didn't find the hole, and he just came around and got him.
Yeah.
And he was unblocked on that play, actually. It was a mess up on the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Advantage of it, but it is what it is.
Hey, took it, but that's what you want him to do.
Yeah.
Let me see here. So do the Giants play a 4-3 or 3-4? We're not going to get into that.
I understand that question. I really can.
Yeah.
When the Giants were at their most dominant, they played a 3-4.
Right. Because you had Leonard Marshall, you had the likes of either Jim Burt or Eric Howard, or at one point in time you had George Martin, then you had Banks, Reasons, Taylor, and Carlson. So that's. But then you had 2 Hall of Famers in that 3-4.
And the only people remember the 4-3 because of Super Bowl runs and whatnot. Most of these people are just 2000 babies, where they just remember 2000 up now.
Yeah. Listen, Kayvon has a smaller build than, but that's not our fault that he has a smaller build. But I love it. I love it.
A lot of people want to shift Kayvon to defensive end and go to a 4-3.
I do.
That's the reality.
I do. I've said it before. I said I think he's more effective with his hand in the dirt. and I think he's not Parsons. You're not going to get the same athleticism, the same speed, the same. I will say this about Parsons, and I watch, and I'm not going to lie, I have a number 11 Parsons jersey. I'm not gonna lie, because
I fell in love with Parsons in college because I'm a Penn State fan. I still like Parsons.
I like Parsons because of the fact that the kid's got a motor. Even when he's hurt, even when you could tell he's not at 100%, that kid just keeps coming. He just keeps going.
Oh,
and I don't think Kayvon's that way. And it's just they're two different personalities.
no, Kayvon's never going to be Parsons. That's for sure.
I love this. This is probably my favorite comment of the day so far because I hear it now.
But Tim, you're missing all the little things Kayvon did last night.
You're missing all this stuff that the stat sheets don't show. I also saw, to someone's point, him getting smoked for a touchdown.
Hey, you know what? I could say the same thing about DJ Davidson.
Exactly. Exactly. Cutthroat says, I agree, Tim. Kayvon is Matthias Kiwanuka, or whatever how you spell your name. We got James Williams in the chat saying, AKA the Casper the Ghost is Al Bundy's Dodge, no motor. I like that one. I like that one, James. James dropping a zinger. Indian Spice is also saying he's Matthias Kiwanuka. We got Logic's Runners all the way from Germany saying Kayvon's a system player, needs a system that suits him's talent. If not, all you're getting flashes with no consistency. James also goes, Kayvon's better. JPP is better than Kayvon, and he only has 8 fingers. Oh my God! Cutthroat says I wasn't around all the time. No, I understand that, Cutthroat. We're just having fun with a lot of people. Let's see. Douglas wants to know, Tim, when are you dropping your Christmas album? That Christmas album will be out soon on KTEL Records. Make sure you stand up for that. And I love it right here because you know what? You're missing the pressures. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Everyone, stand back. We're gonna do it. OG, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You ready? You ready?
King of the almost sack.
Oh,
I think you're going to find it.
I need a cigarette now.
I think you're going to rework that somehow, and you're going to start pressing that next year for Kayvon.
I'm going to have to. I can't get rid of it. I can't, man. It's number 1 on the panel, and I can't fucking get rid of it. I can't, man. Every time I go to delete it, I'm like, no.
You know what you need to do? You need to just what is it? You just got to do a remix of that and just incorporate Kayvon into it, like Prince of the Almost Sack or something.
We'll have to figure. Well, no, before we had, we had.
Hear ye, come one, come all, for it's the king of the covered sack.
He could still be the king of the covered sack. Parsons, Indian Spices. Parsons' pick will haunt me for the rest of my life. It's going to haunt me too. The Josh Allen miss at the linebacker out of Kentucky and the Parsons pick. Those are just 2 picks that are they're just gonna kill me. We got a 2 for 2 from Indian. Says, Tim, I'm chugging the Kool-Aid. Tommy DeVito is our franchise quarterback. Oh, that's why I love you, man. We also have Big Matthew saying, what's up, Tim? OBB fam. Sorry, I'm late to the party. Hope everyone's doing great. We're all doing good. We got Ron Juan in his house also saying, I'm wondering if the Giants saw Kayvon as the next LT when we drafted him. Of course they saw. I think there was some fans that probably saw. I don't know if they saw him as the next LT. I think they saw him as the next Michael Strahan.
No, I agree with that. That's why they drafted him where they did.
I do. Now everyone remembers that Strahan was taken in the 2nd round. But unlike Kayvon, Strahan really got his chops early on in the league by playing the run. And one thing that I will say about this, Jason Pierre-Paul, even Thias Makianuka to an extent, Justin Tuck, Osi Umenyiora, they all played the run extremely well. And I know people when we drafted Kayvon kind of thought, OG, that that they would go that, he'd be that guy. I never saw it. Like I said, I always thought he was going to be more of a guy that was going to get the pressures, get the sacks. But I think a lot of people need to understand, if you do at any point in time put him in a defensive end position, you better have a strong linebacker in reference to being able to maintain that edge on either side of the field.
Especially all these people that want to go back to the 4-3.
Yeah, you better have a guy that can motor and pick up for the mistakes that he is going to make.
And I don't, honestly, I know you don't want to get in this conversation, and I'll leave it at this. I don't understand with this day and age where it's so vital to have speed on the field more so than even back in the 80s, 90s. 3-4 just makes more sense. It just makes more sense to me.
It does make more sense. I don't think we have the full complement of players to play it right now. And speed, you know what? You're going back to the old Al Davis days, even going back to the 60s with the Mad Bomber, Daryl LaMonica, where all they wanted to do was just ripping and ripping and chuck the ball down the field because they had the fastest guys on the field. But we've said it before, and we've said it on the show, speed does not always translate on the NFL field. There have been plenty of guys that had blazing speed. There's been world-class Ronaldo Nehemiah, Willie Gault. You got guys that have all this blazing speed. It doesn't mean you're going to catch the fucking ball.
Hey, Willie Gault was awesome in Super Techno Ball.
He was, wasn't he? He was. I actually have the NES out. It's actually, we're playing Burger Time on the NES right now. I don't even ask me why. But Behind the Fiend says, rewatch the game today, and I don't think DeVito is the future. But watch his footwork, his poise, and how he goes through his progressions. He is what we wish we got from Daniel Jones. I saw people comparing him to Bryce Young at one point in time today on Twitter.
Why do we have to compare quarterbacks? No offense to Behind the Fields comment, but if it just stopped before comparing it to DJ, there you go. That's who he is.
No, he didn't. His comment is what I want to talk about, because actually I agree with all in this entire comment, and I wanted to talk to you about that until you just went off and became rude. His footwork to me is better than Daniel Jones. Yep. His poise in the pocket is better. His ability to sense the pressure and feel the rush is 1,000 times better. His general awareness on the field, if you're comparing it to Daniel Jones, it's like night and day.
Hey, I got a quick question for you.
Sure.
We're comparing arm strength to Daniel Jones, because I think people put Daniel Jones' arm strength way over the top. And I think DeVito has just as strong an arm.
I think that Tommy DeVito has just as strong as arm. I 100% think he has just as strong as arm as Daniel Jones.
And a lot of people think last night that he should have thrown that ball when we were driving toward the end zone. And he had that play where Wandell was one-on-one with a linebacker. People felt that he should have lobbed toward the end zone. And I think everybody thinks he short-armed that ball. I don't think that.
I actually kind of think he did.
Over the top and went and threw it back shoulder. That's what I think.
I kind of do think he did. I will say this about his arm. There is a reason that he went to Syracuse in Illinois.
No, that's a gift.
There's a reason, and arm strength is one of the reasons. And this is why I think he has such the elongated windup. We've talked about this a million times before. He exposes the ball for such an extended period of time with that windup, and I think he needs that windup to generate the ability to get the ball out to where he needs to go. He's not like Drake May, who can make all the Sunday throws. And I think at times it's his arm reminds me of Chad Pennington before the injury. That's what I think of his arm.
I
love Chad Pennington, but Chad Pennington before he got hurt kind of had a noodle arm.
Oh, he did.
You look at his arm strength and you go,
he was more deadly accurate than anything else.
Exactly. And if you want to compare him now to a modern day player that people can relate to, I think his arm strength is a little below Kenny Pickett over with the Steelers. And I think that's where Tommy DeVito falls in right now.
And well, you Steeler fans are not exactly enamored with Kenny Pickett because
Kenny. I sometimes don't think he could throw the ball 30 yards. I really don't. You look at Brock Purdy the same way, but I think Brock Purdy is still as accurate to the point at times like a Chad Pennington.
I think he has. I think Brock Purdy has a underrated arm, because I see some of those deep throws.
I see some of the deep throws, but I also think the fact that he at times short hops it a little bit. Daniel Jones, this is what pisses me off about Daniel Jones fans. Daniel Jones fans, when they talk about he had the 7th greatest deep ball last year in the NFL, according to Pro Football Focus, but he only threw 13 passes. And the 2 touchdowns that he had were short passes to Darius Slayton, who broke the plays. And I was at one of those games. It was against the Texans. And the ball possibly should have been intercepted on that play against the Texans. And that's why I keep telling people, I never really thought Daniel Jones had this big-time arm. Phil Simms had a big-time arm. Eli Manning, early in his career, from like 2004, I'll say, to like 2011, 2012, had a great deep ball. Had a fantastic deep ball. He kind of went, he kind of altered his playing style when Kevin Gilbride got fired. But he had that ability to throw the ball. I never saw that with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, the last 2 years, how many times have we seen him throw a receiver open? I mean, rephrase that. How many times have we seen an open receiver have Daniel Jones only to have Daniel Jones throw the ball short?
Too many times.
And I worry with DeVito that
if Daniel Jones hits him in the number, chances are the receiver drops him. So
yeah, it's true too. Kevin wants to know, do you still have the Kayvon Thibodeaux song? Hey. Oh no, that's do we still have the Kayvon Thibodeaux song? I don't know where the Kayvon Thibodeaux song is. That was the one that I made for James for his birthday. I have it somewhere. I would have to find oh wait, here we go. Wait a minute.
I gotta come up with something. The old life thinks I'm nothing. If I only had a sack.
That one never gets old either. Let's see. We got any more comments? Leonard Williams. Let's just talk about that for half a second. Half a second. Has anyone else noticed besides me that Seattle hasn't won in a game since they brought in Leonard Williams?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Because I didn't know, because I haven't checked any Leonard Williams.
Believe me, there are plenty of Twitter trolls that just make it their job every time they see Seattle lose to throw it out there.
And these are the same people that loved Leonard Williams. Loved him.
I would say love Leonard Williams because I don't think a lot of people were enamored with Leonard. I haven't heard many people enamored with Leonard Williams.
Not anymore. James said to everyone, sing. Oh, we got, well, just for James, because I see James. We'll play I created this sound effect and sent this to James on his birthday.
Hey, kids, look over there. Who is it? It's Kayvon, the friendly pass rusher. Oh, no. Now he's gone.
That's because James always calls him Casper. It is 7:43. I have to get out of here because I got to go do a couple things. OG, we always appreciate you coming on. But what is your final thought? What is your final thought on Tommy DeVito and the remainder of the 2023 season?
Enjoy the ride while it lasts. And, as a Giants fan, what I can say is don't get too high, don't get too low. Because no matter what, this team, as they are right now, will find a way to disappoint you. If you were a fan and you were hoping for a 10-win season, well, you didn't get that. If you're a fan and you were hoping for the tank and a top 3 pick, well, they disappointed you there too. Just take things in stride and don't overreact. Enjoy it, enjoy the moments. That's what I'm saying.
Enjoy the moments.
Because I'm searching high. I'll be searching low. I'll talk about baby.
Don't forget my number. Sorry. Love will see you through. I was watching the Milli Vanilli documentary.
Oh, Milli Vanilli, the documentary. Oh.
I was watching the document. We do so many things. Douglas says his final thoughts is Tommy DeVito was the greatest quarterback ever to breathe on the field. I love the people that follow this channel. I just really do. One thing I do want to say is I got some I don't know, what are they? I got some messages the other day about just about the channel. And I do want to just give a big shout out and a big thank you to people because of the fact that I got some really great messages. And yes, I try as much as I humanly possibly can to interact with everybody. And if I do miss your comments, please forgive me, because like sometimes it's a little difficult. I always tell it before, I try to read everyone's comments, and if I do miss your comments, please just repost them in the chat and I will try to get to them. I'm not trying to purposely not say somebody's comments, but sometimes if you leave like 20 comments and I get to 15 of them, that's because I got to get to other people's comments as well. So that was a little PSA, and I do want to thank the person that sent me an email the other day, just talking the fact that that they think it's nice that I interact with people outside of this little box, that I hang out with OGR or James Williams or T Brad or Dom or or Irish Rover or Big Mike or or Lorenzo or whomever. So and I always tell people, if you see me at the game, just say hello. That's all I'm saying.
Tim can seem like a bit of an asshole.
Oh yeah, I am.
He's don't let him fool you. He's a fucking teddy bear.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you. You know that nobody likes you. But on that note, let's see. Matthew says, Tim is the host with the most. Best chill on you, Tim. Always to support you. Well, thank you, Matthew. I appreciate you too. We've had Matthew on the show as well. But like I said, I do someone asked me if I would do a drink night. They called it a meet and greet, but I don't want to call it that. And to the person that sent me that, yes, I am going to look into it. If we do it, it will be in Jersey. I doubt anyone will show up, but then I also fear that a lot of other people will show up. But we'll talk about that as well. My final thoughts of the season is Giants YouTube's turning on. What I don't know. Giant YouTube is turning on Barkley, Bad Dog, and Chris. Barkley, Bad Dog.
Oh no, he's just saying like they're turning on Saquon, Barkley, Bad Dog, and Chris.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure that out. Thank you. And that's why I have OGR, because he can read. Also, I said, I agree. Tim is the realist and the most objective. I love this show. I appreciate it, everyone. Like I said, we're going to try to do what we can. We're going to have the big stream on Sunday. I don't know if OGR wants to stop by. I'm going to put him on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I can stop by. Just what time?
He fucking doesn't know what time the stream is every Sunday. Every Sunday, the stream is at the same time. Every Sunday.
I never catch your Sunday stream.
Well, because you're not a good person then. You're not a good subscriber. You're no longer Lex Luthor. No, you would be Lex Luthor. That would be right. Okay, you would be Lex Luthor then. It's Sunday at 10 o'clock.
All right.
10 a.m. 10 a.m. Also, thank you. Even Zach Attack knows. Also, I think we're probably going to see if we can have Coach Dave on. Of course, we'll see if James Williams and T-Brad wants to jump in as well. But I'm very curious to get everyone's thoughts, and I don't want to talk about now. And that's why I definitely want to do Sunday about this Saints games, because I got a lot to say about that. I appreciate everyone that spent the time hanging in and hanging out. I appreciate OGR for stopping by, but you know what time it is. It is 10:48 Eastern Standard Time. This is Tim. This is OGR Plus, bringing you everything New York Giants content. Make sure you just like, subscribe, and all that shit. We are out of here. See you guys on